Do your joints ache at the end of the day? Maybe it's your knees after a walk, or your hands after holding the steering wheel too long. You try to settle into your favorite chair, but the stiffness just won't let you relax. Here's the surprising truth. The food you put on your plate tonight can either fuel the fire of inflammation or calm it down. And supper, yes, the very last meal of the day, can be your secret weapon against arthritis pain. I'm Dr. Brian, and welcome to Channel Wellness Blueprint Over 50. I've spent over 3 decades helping older adults reclaim their health, independence, and joy. And I've seen something remarkable again and again. When people choose the right foods, their nights become restful, their mornings less painful, and their days brighter. Tonight, I'll share with you 3 powerful suppers designed to naturally eliminate arthritis pain and inflammation. When I think about the first supper that has the power to change how your joints feel, I think of a patient I'll call Margaret. She was 72, with a warm smile but eyes that always carried a hint of fatigue. Her knees were swollen from years of arthritis, and she told me she dreaded walking up the stairs at night. One day we talked not about medications or injections, but about food. I suggested she try building her evening meals around salmon, broccoli, and quinoa. She raised her eyebrows, laughed, and said, "Doctor, I'm no fancy chef." But 2 weeks later, she came back and told me, "I don't know if it's the fish or the green stuff, but my knees feel lighter." That's the beauty of this first supper. It's deceptively simple, yet profoundly healing. Let's begin with the star of the plate, wild salmon. Imagine a piece of salmon sizzling gently in a pan with just a touch of olive oil. The pink flesh turns golden at the edges, releasing an aroma that tells you something nourishing is on the way. But what makes salmon so powerful isn't just its taste. It's what's hidden in those rich, fatty layers. Omega-3 fatty acids, particularly EPA and DHA. If you think of your joints as rusty hinges, omega-3s are the oil that helps them glide smoothly again. They calm the body's inflammation signals, lowering markers like C-reactive protein and interleukin-6, which scientists measure in arthritis studies. In fact, a study published in Annals of the Rheumatic Diseases showed that regular omega-3 intake significantly reduced morning stiffness in people with rheumatoid arthritis. It's not magic, it's nutrition doing what medicine sometimes struggles to do. Now you might be wondering, does it matter whether the salmon is wild or farmed? Yes, it does. Wild-caught salmon tends to have a leaner profile in a cleaner environment, which means richer levels of those inflammation-fighting fats. Think of wild salmon as the athlete of the fish world, stronger, more resilient, better trained to protect your joints. Preparation is easy too. Grill it with a squeeze of lemon, bake it with garlic and herbs, or sear it with a pinch of turmeric or ginger. Both of those spices bring their own anti-inflammatory magic, turning dinner into a healing ritual. Next to the salmon sits a heap of bright green steamed broccoli. I know broccoli isn't everyone's favorite vegetable, but once you see what it does inside your body, you may look at it with new respect. Broccoli is rich in sulforaphane, a compound that acts like a protective shield for your joints. Studies suggest sulforaphane can actually slow down the enzymes that break down cartilage, the very cushion between your bones that arthritis slowly erodes. Imagine that. A vegetable helping you preserve the padding in your knees and hips. On top of that, broccoli brings vitamin C for collagen production, vitamin K for bone strength, and calcium to keep your skeleton steady. And when you steam it lightly, never boiling it to mush, you preserve that gentle crunch and those powerful nutrients. Drizzle a bit of olive oil, sprinkle a pinch of black pepper, maybe even add lemon zest, and suddenly broccoli transforms from a chore into a delight. And finally, to complete the plate, we add a bed of fluffy quinoa. Quinoa is often called an ancient grain, though technically it's a seed. What matters more is what it gives to your body. For someone living with arthritis, quinoa is like the strong friend who helps carry your load. It's naturally gluten-free, which is important because for some people, gluten can worsen inflammation. It's rich in fiber, which keeps your gut healthy. And here's something fascinating. Research increasingly shows that gut health and joint health are connected. A balanced gut can calm the immune system, reducing arthritis flares. Quinoa also provides plant-based protein to strengthen the muscles around your joints, and magnesium to ease stiffness and even help you sleep better at night. Cooking quinoa is as simple as simmering it in water or vegetable broth for 15 minutes until those tiny spirals fluff up into a satisfying base. Now picture the whole plate together: golden salmon, emerald green broccoli, and nutty quinoa. It's a meal that looks like a painter's palette: warm, balanced, alive. But more importantly, each bite is medicine disguised as food. Margaret, the patient I mentioned earlier, told me after a month of eating this meal twice a week, "I still feel my arthritis, but it doesn't control me anymore." That's the kind of shift we aim for. Not perfection, not erasing the years of wear and tear, but reclaiming enough ease to enjoy life again. When you choose this supper, you're not just feeding hunger. You're soothing your joints, calming your immune system, and giving your body tools to repair itself. And that's why wild salmon with steamed broccoli and quinoa earns its place as the first supper in your healing arsenal. I'll never forget Thomas, a retired school teacher in his late 60s, who came to see me complaining of aching hands. He loved to paint, but arthritis had made holding a brush painful. When we talked about his meals, I noticed most of his dinners came from a can or the frozen aisle. I asked him if he'd ever tried lentil stew. He smiled politely, probably thinking I was prescribing him rabbit food. But a few weeks later, he returned with a grin and said, "Doctor, I think you were right. My hands still hurt, but they don't throb the way they used to." What changed? He had started cooking a simple lentil and vegetable turmeric stew. It became more than just supper. It became a lifeline to his art. Lentils may not seem glamorous, but don't underestimate their quiet strength. Think of them as tiny warriors packed with armor. Inside each lentil is protein, the kind that helps keep your muscles steady and strong. Why does that matter for arthritis? Because the muscles around your joints are like scaffolding around a building. They keep everything supported and stable. Lose that scaffolding, and every step, every grip becomes harder. Lentils are also loaded with fiber, and fiber is like a broom that sweeps your digestive system clean, keeping your gut bacteria balanced. Scientists now talk about the gut-joint connection, meaning when your gut is in harmony, your immune system calms down, and inflammation decreases everywhere, including your joints. It's fascinating to see how a humble bean can influence something as complex as joint pain. But the real magic in this stew comes from turmeric. If salmon was the star of the first supper, turmeric is the golden light of this one. Its vibrant color comes from curcumin, a compound proven to be one of nature's most powerful inflammation fighters. In fact, a review in the journal Phytotherapy Research found curcumin to be as effective as certain anti-inflammatory drugs, but without the same risks of ulcers or stomach bleeding. The catch? Curcumin doesn't absorb well on its own. That's why you always pair it with black pepper, which boosts absorption dramatically, and with a healthy fat like olive oil or coconut milk. Imagine turmeric as a locked treasure chest, and black pepper as the key that opens it, allowing your body to use every bit of its golden power. Now, no stew would be complete without vegetables, and this one becomes a rainbow of healing. Carrots bring beta-carotene, which your body turns into vitamin a protector of tissues and a helper for your immune system. Spinach offers iron and vitamin K, both important for blood health and bone strength. Tomatoes give you lycopene, an antioxidant that reduces oxidative stress, which is like rust inside your body's machinery. Zucchini adds vitamin C, the building block for collagen, which keeps your tendons and ligaments strong. And then come the aromatics, onions and garlic. They don't just add flavor, they bring sulfur compounds that support detoxification and help your joints stay flexible. Add in warming spices like cumin, coriander, and ginger, and suddenly your kitchen smells not only inviting, but medicinal. Preparing the stew is a soothing ritual in itself. You begin by gently sautéing onions, garlic, and ginger in olive oil. Their fragrance fills the air, and even before you take a bite, you feel comforted. Then you stir in turmeric, cumin, and coriander, letting the heat awaken their oils. In go the diced carrots, celery, and tomatoes, followed by rinsed lentils. Add vegetable broth, bring it to a gentle simmer, and let time do the work. As the lentils soften, the flavors deepen into something greater than the sum of its parts. Toward the end, you toss in a handful of spinach or kale for that burst of green vitality. And if you want a creamier texture, stir in a splash of coconut milk, which not only enriches the flavor, but adds the fat that helps your body absorb turmeric. Thomas the painter told me making this stew became his evening ritual. He said chopping the vegetables was like meditation. Stirring the pot gave him patience. And by the time he sat down with a steaming bowl, he felt he was feeding not just his body, but his soul. His arthritis didn't vanish, but his nights grew easier, his mornings less painful, and most importantly, he could pick up his brush again. That's the promise of lentil and vegetable turmeric stew. It's more than comfort food, it's healing disguised as supper. Every spoonful tells your joints, you are supported, you are nourished, you are safe. And with consistency, this golden bowl can help reduce arthritis pain, calm inflammation, and restore a sense of vitality to your evenings. There's a patient I often think about named Elaine. She was 68 when she first came to me, full of life and humor, but her joints told a different story. She loved gardening, yet kneeling down to tend her roses left her knees swollen and stiff. Doctor, she told me, I feel like my body is betraying me. Instead of prescribing more pills, we talked about food. I asked her to try a simple bowl built around sweet potatoes, kale, avocado, and pumpkin seeds. She looked doubtful at first, but months later she returned and said, I don't know if it's coincidence, but I've been gardening more, and I don't pay for it nearly as much the next day. Her story is the perfect example of what this colorful bowl can do. It nourishes deeply, calms inflammation, and helps restore freedom of movement. Let's start with sweet potatoes, the foundation of this meal. Their vibrant orange color comes from beta-carotene, a compound your body transforms into vitamin A. Vitamin A isn't just about eyesight, it's crucial for immune balance, which directly impacts arthritis. When the immune system overreacts, inflammation skyrockets, attacking the joints like a wildfire. Vitamin A acts like the firefighter, calming the flames. Sweet potatoes also bring a generous dose of vitamin C, essential for building collagen, the protein that holds cartilage, tendons, and ligaments together. Imagine collagen as the glue that keeps your joints resilient. Without it, they grow fragile, and every step feels heavier. And let's not forget fiber. Sweet potatoes are packed with it, feeding your gut bacteria, which in turn lower inflammation throughout your body. That's the gut-joint connection at work once again. Roasting sweet potatoes with a drizzle of olive oil, a pinch of sea salt, and perhaps a dusting of paprika or cinnamon transforms them into golden, caramelized cubes that taste as comforting as they are healing. Now pile on the greens. Kale. This leafy powerhouse has an almost intimidating reputation, but when treated right, it's both delicious and therapeutic. Kale is rich in vitamin K, which helps regulate your body's inflammatory responses and strengthens bones. It also contains calcium and magnesium, minerals that keep your muscles relaxed and your joints flexible. On top of that, kale contains sulforaphane-like compounds that block the enzymes responsible for cartilage breakdown, which is central in osteoarthritis. Think of kale as the quiet guardian standing between your joints and the slow creep of damage. The trick to enjoying kale is preparation. Sauté it lightly with olive oil, garlic, and a splash of lemon juice. That not only softens its texture, but also makes its nutrients easier for your body to absorb, turning it into a rich, satisfying green that complements the sweetness of the potatoes. Next, add a touch of creaminess with avocado. If sweet potatoes are the foundation and kale the guardian, avocado is the healer. Its velvety flesh is packed with monounsaturated fats that lower C-reactive protein, one of the major markers of inflammation. Avocados also provide vitamin E, a powerful antioxidant that protects your tissues from further damage. And here's something not many people know. Avocados contain unique compounds like phytosterols and PFAs, polyhydroxylated fatty alcohols, that have been shown to slow cartilage deterioration. Imagine avocado as a soothing balm that works from the inside out, softening the pain of inflammation and protecting the structures that make movement possible. Slice it, mash it, or fan it over the top of your bowl, and suddenly supper feels both indulgent and restorative. And then comes the crunch, pumpkin seeds. These tiny gems, also called pepitas, may be small, but they carry a mighty punch. They're one of the best natural sources of magnesium, a mineral many older adults unknowingly lack. Low magnesium can make muscles cramp, joints feel stiff, and sleep restless. Adding pumpkin seeds helps reverse that, relaxing the muscles and calming the nerves. They're also rich in zinc, omega-3 fatty acids, and antioxidants, which together form a shield against swelling and further joint damage. Sprinkle a tablespoon or two over your bowl, and you've added not just crunch, but a layer of protection. Now picture the finished bowl. Roasted cubes of golden sweet potato, a pile of tender green kale, silky slices of avocado, and a sprinkle of crunchy pumpkin seeds. It's a meal that looks like autumn in a bowl, warm, earthy, inviting. But beyond the beauty is a profound truth. This supper is medicine. Every forkful tells your body, you are cared for, you are nourished, you are safe. Elaine the gardener told me that after weeks of eating this meal, she not only moved with greater ease, but also felt a new sense of energy. She said, "Doctor, I don't feel like my body's betraying me anymore. I feel like it's working with me." That's the gift of this sweet potato and kale bowl with avocado and pumpkin seeds. It doesn't just satisfy hunger, it restores balance, reduces inflammation, and supports your joints in ways medication alone can't. It's proof that simple ingredients, prepared with love, can help bring back the joy of movement and the freedom to do the things you cherish most. We've journeyed through 3 suppers tonight, each one a powerful ally in the fight against arthritis, pain, and inflammation, a plate of wild salmon with broccoli and quinoa that lubricates your joints, a hearty lentil turmeric stew that warms and heals from within, and a vibrant sweet potato and kale bowl crowned with avocado and pumpkin seeds, restoring strength and flexibility. Remember, food is medicine, and every bite is a step toward relief and renewal. I'm Dr. Brian. Thank you for joining me here on Wellness Blueprint Over 50. Like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs hope tonight.